and I are spending the day inside because it's raining. It rained yesterday too, and I remember that because I wrote it down in my weather journal. My weather journal is where I write down what the weather is like every day. Do you keep a weather journal? Well, you can. It's easy. Each day, just look out your window or step outside and see what the weather is like. Then you can write it down or draw a picture like Squeaks does of what you see. There are a few different kinds of weather to look for. It can be rainy, like it is today, or sunny, when the sun is high in the sky and shining bright. Or when there's no sun but lots of clouds, that's cloudy. There's also snowy, when snowflakes fall from the sky. And windy, when you might need to hold onto your hat. Weather can be unpredictable. It's hard to guess what's going to happen next. It can be cloudy one day and sunny the next, but over long periods of time, weather often follows certain patterns. For example, it might be mostly sunny in the summer, but it might snow a lot in the winter. So depending on what season it is where you live, the weather might have a certain pattern. If you're in the middle of a season like summer, you might notice it's sunny and warm for 5 days in a row. That's a pattern. But if the season is changing, the weather might not follow a pattern that's easy to guess. Say if winter is ending, you might find that a few days are colder and windier, but then the next few days are sunny and warm. That's because the season is changing, going from a chillier winter to a warmer spring. That's why I like to keep a weather journal, to see what weather patterns I can observe for myself. Scientists who study the weather every day as their job are called meteorologists. But you don't have to be a meteorologist to watch the weather where you live. In fact, all you need is a notebook, a pencil or crayon, and a thermometer. Besides going outside to see and feel what the weather is like, you can also look at a thermometer to find out more about the weather. This is a thermometer. It tells you what the temperature is outside, how hot or how cold it is. The higher the liquid is inside of the thermometer, the hotter it is outside. And the lower the liquid is, the colder it is outside. If you want to keep a weather journal like I do, then you might want to see if your family can get an outdoor thermometer to help you record the temperature. Then every day, you can look outside and write down what you see or draw a picture. Next, look at the temperature on your thermometer and write down how hot or cold it is. Just look for the line on the thermometer that's closest to the top of the liquid. That's your temperature. I like to write in my weather journal at the same time every day, right after breakfast. You can pick a time that works best for you and observe the weather at the same time every day for 5 days. After 5 days, look back through your weather journal. What was the weather like this week? Did you see any patterns? Can you guess what the weather might be like on the 6th day based on what you've seen already? Share your journal with your friends, and if you want, you can keep observing the weather for more than 5 days. If you watch the weather for, say, a whole month, you'll be able to watch the weather change. In fact, you'll probably see at least a few of the different types of weather that we talked about earlier. A mix of sunny, cloudy, and rainy days. And if you keep your weather journal for a whole year, you'll be able to see the weather where you live at its hottest and its coldest. And you'll have a list, either in your words or your pictures, of everything that happened that year. Then you'll know when the first snow of the winter was, and the highest and lowest temperatures of the year, and if it rained more some times of the year than others. So grab your notebook and get outside. It's time to watch the weather.
Become a meteorologist. That's someone who studies the weather. You're going to put out a weather forecast for the day, just like you would do if you were on the news. Now, there's lots of different ways we can do this. If you're a little nervous, you can do it with your parents or brother and sister. They can kind of help ask you questions about the weather and you can answer them. But you have to cover a few things. You have to say what the temperature is, so you can figure that out by using a thermometer or just Googling it on the computer or on a phone. You also need to look up at the sky and say, is it cloudy? Is it sunny? Is it blue sky? Is it rainy? Does it look like it's about to rain? And then think about the how windy it is. Is it really windy out there, or is it not too bad? Then you need to say, what would you wear today if you were to go outside? Would you need snow pants? Would you need a rain jacket? Would you need rain boots? Or do you need shorts? Maybe a bathing suit. Maybe it's a great day to go swimming. And then the last thing you need to do is you need to say, what would be great activities to do outside today? So if it's raining, that might be jumping around in some puddles or looking for earthworms that may have come up from the ground. Or if it's a nice sunny day, maybe going for a bike ride or going for a hike. So you can do as much or as little with this as you want, but be creative, have fun. You get to be on the news. Here is an example of what you could do.
Welcome to CA Frost School News. My name is Henry Paul.
And I'm Mrs. Paul, and we're here to give you your forecast for the day. What is the current temperature, Mr. Paul?
The current temperature is 68 Fahrenheit.
And what does the sky look like?
The sky looks like there's some cloud, blue sky, and sun.
What's the wind like? Is it windy at all today?
Well, it's a little windy.
And what do you think you should wear on a beautiful day like today?
You could be wearing shorts or t-shirts.
And what would be a good activity to do today outside?
Riding your bike to a close spot place that you like.
All right, well, that's all we have time for today. Tune in at 5 for an update. Bye! All right, so that was more of the basic version. Now, if you're feeling creative, you can do a more advanced version, have some props, maybe pick a nice outfit to wear. So here's another version you can see if you want to put a little bit more time into your video.
Hi, this is the Frost School News. My name is Henry Paul, and I'm your weatherman. Let's look what the temperature is. Oh, it's 55 degrees. See how it's windy, how windy it's today. This is an anemometer. It measures wind speed. As you can see, it's not super windy. Oh, it's a beautiful day out. Like a day you could ride your bike. The sky is blue and no clouds. All sun and blue sky. Today is a good day for having a big long bike ride, and I would be wearing shorts with short sleeves. That's all the time I have. It's time for Sonny the Sport. Sport. Oh, Gato.
If you want to make your own anemometer to use in your video, then look at the optional family activities on our Seesaw page. Can't wait to see your videos!